Fashion has always made its mark through the generations, and for those modern-day fashionistas, there's a new take on the trendy. Joining me is best-selling author Sandra Bark with her new book, Birds of a Feather Shop Together, a humorous look at fashion and beauty inspired by the classic Aesop's fables. Welcome, Sandra. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
What inspired you to put both elements together, fashion and Aesop's fables?
You know, this book was really inspired by a very brilliant editor at HarperCollins who felt like this would be a fantastic way to modernize Aesop's fables and speak to the morals of the stories in a way that would really appeal to modern readers.
All right, so why put fashion into this?
I think fashion, you know, is an area where people want to look beautiful, they want to feel good, and sometimes it can take a turn for the worse where our desire to look good makes us behave badly.
Oh, absolutely. And as I was reading the stories, really every woman can identify with them because it could easily happen to you, or you know of somebody that it has happened to them. And one of the ones I particularly remember is the story about how the two women were fighting over this fabulous Dior handbag. So can you share that story with everybody else?
Sure. It's a story called Carpe Dior, and it focuses on two women at a sample sale who are tugging on the same bag so furiously that the saleswoman encourages them to put it back on the shelf, whereby somebody else comes by and walks off with it. And I think it's really just speaks to, you know, again, wanting to have nice things without being greedy.
Do you think a lot of women are that way?
I don't know if a lot of women are. I'm sure that we all know some who are.
Oh, yeah. So what's the message of a book like this?
I think the message of a book like this is that it's great to want to be beautiful, but maybe sometimes the best way to be a beautiful person is to be beautiful on the inside. It's more about what we do for others than what we do for ourselves.
So is that why you wrote the book, particularly is to send that message out to women and men that, obviously men probably wouldn't want to pick this book up, but they can certainly learn a lesson from this as well. But to get that message out is that the beauty is really in the inside?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. It's also just a really fun book, great gift book, a way to laugh and learn something at the same time.
Are you working on other books as well?
I am. I'm a ghostwriter and a collaborator by trade, so I am working on a number of other books right now.
All kinds of different genres, or?
Yeah, I've done a couple of books with Kat Von D, very well-known tattoo artist, as well as working with a number of stylists and fitness trainers, and so across the board.
Well, fashion is something that you obviously are into.
Yeah, I am into fashion. I sew, I knit, and so not only do I shop, but I also create my own clothing.
Has any of these funny stories ever happened to you?
Yeah, you know, when I was in college, I worked for a while for an attorney, and there was an older woman who worked there who wore high heels all of the time, and she told me one day, rather proudly, that she had worn high heels so often for so many years that whenever she put sneakers on, it was quite painful, and so her slippers at home wore high heels, and she was definitely the inspiration for the story, the red shoes.
Exactly, because that's what happened to the woman. She was wearing her heels so much that, that she had to walk even when she took her shoes off.
Exactly, yeah. And there's also a story called A Girl with Curls, and as a woman with curly hair who sometimes straightens, that story is definitely me making fun of myself.
Well, and you know, it's a funny thing is I have straight hair, and I remember going to the salon and getting a perm because back then it was the thing to have the big hair look. But now I really just embrace the way I look. I mean, it's straight, so it's straight. I just kind of deal with that. But I love my hair straight, and people come to me all the time and say, I want your hair.
Yeah, it's definitely a human tendency to sometimes want what we don't have, and learning to be happy with ourselves is a good way to find peace.
But the grass is never greener on the other side.
Exactly.
And also, another thing is, one of the chapters you have too is on the chapter of joy. And that's the story about a woman who has this fabulous perfume, Joy. And it reminded me of my mom. She has a big, huge bottle of Joy. Well, she shared it with me, but the woman in your book did not share it.
Yeah, that story was taken from the story The Miser, which is about somebody who hoarded their gold. And this is a story about a woman who hoards this perfume, this joy, so intently that in fact she loses all her friends and family.
Exactly.
Which is not the way to treat things.
No, I mean, it's just a thing. What's more important here is family and friends.
Exactly.
What's your favorite part of the book?
I think my favorite story comes at the end. It's called Gracious Living, and it really makes the point that being a beautiful person is about being a good person, not just being an attractive person.
Do you think a lot of people don't look at life in that way?
I think many people look at life that way, and this is just a reminder.
That's true. So many people what happens is you get caught up in life and you just forget about what's more important to you.
Absolutely.
And is there anything about this book that that people really need to know that we haven't discussed?
No, I think we've covered it. It's really it's fun, it's funny, it's a fresh take on Aesop's fables, and I hope people enjoy it.
I know, I laughed throughout the whole thing.
Oh, I'm so glad
and
to
I
hear
did
it.
identify different elements of the book, so it was fun to read.
Great, I'm so glad.
Again, the book is Birds of a Feather, Shop Together, and where can you get the book?
It's available nationwide at bookstores and online.
Sandra, it's fabulous to have you with us.
Thank you, it's fabulous to be here.